All right, welcome back to the fifth episode of The Cycle, the premier Slapshot broadcast. We're here with, obviously, Rodeo and Belucha, but today we have a
Hiya.
special guest, Meatsale.
Hello.
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 All right, finally back at it. Here to re-record because
What do you mean?
some technical difficulties, so that's okay.
Finally.
Finally.
As scheduled.
We did this. Yeah, we did this episode once, but now some more interesting stuff's happened. We'll still revisit what we
Right.
lost a bit, but some more stuff's happened. So
Some more
This is
interesting
true.
stuff to talk
It's
about.
like as time goes on, things just keep happening. Or
a
whatever.
real shame. It was a great episode.
Yeah, I was.
Like after we were all hyped after.
We'll make it better. We'll make it better. We just have to go
Yeah.
in depth like we did last time.
Because
But
I'm
like-
on it.
What do you
It's
say?
not a sequel, it's a remake.
Yeah, it's a remix.
Reimagining.
All right. So obviously, first things first, we should talk about SPL with only 3 weeks left, I believe.
Yeah, 6 games I think per team left.
Yep, just about. So
Yeah.
Belucha, Rodeo, give me your guys' opinions on the league so far. How it's been with obviously the 5-day schedule that everyone obviously kind of freaked out about at the beginning, and give me your expectations going into the playoffs and what's gonna happen, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, with only 2 games a week, scheduling has been pretty easy.
Definitely.
You know,
It's like
not,
I do my games on like 1 day of the week or 2 days a week,
Yeah.
and then you just forget about it.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
then it's like,
It's like,
oh,
you wait till next week. Oh shit, we're still in SPL, huh?
yeah.
But it feels good. I think 3 is like the prime number. It
I
just
think three's
it feels
the golden ticket.
yeah, 3 feels really good compared to right now where it feels like we're just playing a little like just not enough against
It's
these
like a little
teams.
taste. It's like a
But as far as like how the
teaser,
standings
if you
are,
will.
as far as the standings, I don't think anything's too crazy. I think there's only really one surprise right now. It's Baguettes being 3 and 5. They're only 5th, so they're not in like relegation like danger, but 3 and 5 is not where you expect that team to be. So
Yeah, it's not horrible, and
Yeah.
they have improved. Since 2 weeks ago.
The slow
So
start,
they got that going for them. It's like they're just picking it up now.
right?
But yeah, like you said, a bit of a slow start. I think everyone kind of projected them a lot higher than they ended up at, like the number 3 or number 2 even.
Yep.
Like putting FSI and the boys together. I think everyone kind of expected a lot, and it just didn't necessarily play out like that, at least so far.
I do know I don't think they have Galaxy for the rest of the season. I don't know. It might not
really.
be the rest, but I think he is in Europe right now
Oh well.
or is going somewhere. I think he's visiting someone, or I don't know the situation. but
R.I.P.
yeah, I think Renan might be their third for the foreseeable future.
Well, you know what's interesting is I would have thought that Gauzy being in would be like the key for them, but they've
Yeah.
actually been like doing better, and he hasn't been here. So I don't know.
Bernard's a sleeper pick.
Bernard for president?
I love some Renard fan club.
Yeah,
True.
so
Start it up.
But they did go 1-1 this week. I mean, they beat the Sale, I believe, and I think they lost to, I forget the other team they played. Or they might have won. I'm not sure.
Well, they
Sales-
were 1-5, so I think they won both of their games last time I checked.
yeah.
So they're
Okay.
3-5, so they had to have won both their games. So whoever they
Oh yeah,
played,
they beat
Yeah.
beat Baltimore. Sorry.
Oh,
which is
okay,
notable because before now they only had 1 win.
Yeah,
Sale's definitely a big win for them too.
Yeah.
They're,
yeah. And Sale was off a hot win versus Denver also.
I don't wanna
both
take
those
that.
games. Both those games were big for them.
Nah, you know what?
Done for
That was
the
a
playoffs.
fine game. They played a slap shot that I wish that I didn't have to see or be a part of.
Yeah,
But
that happens.
I mean, but it's a reality, and I've kind of been like an advocate for that style for lower teams against like upper teams. Not to like rag on anyone. I don't
You
feel
know,
like that.
packing in the net.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
stack 3 people in front of the net
Mhm.
Is that
Dump
what they
it.
did?
and score off the like break.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna pin anyone in their zone, and that's not what happened. But you just get these quick chances on like the turnover, and then that's goals.
Right.
So it was a very messy game. It was high scoring, and it was close.
Yeah.
And I mean, playing in it, I could have seen it go either way, and it just didn't go our way.
Yeah.
But they played that style to a T. So I mean,
Yeah.
they earned it basically.
I mean, those are the like when a team plays like that. Those are the easiest games to like let slip away. Like especially like in your position, like you guys are 7-1. Like that game doesn't spell doom for you guys. You know, like that's just a bump in the road. Like those are the easiest games to lose when teams play like that. If you can't get if you can't hold a solid lead, if you can't get up 2 to 3 quick on a team like that, then those are hard games to win a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
it's tough balancing the offense and defense and all that, and that's kind of what Slapshot's always been about, is being able to do both and kind of juggle how you're going to do in your own zone and what you're going to do when you go up. And we just weren't necessarily able to do that super well. And it's also like we prepare heavily. How are we going to act against a team that plays conventionally, and then someone
Yeah.
comes and plays very unconventionally,
Right.
but still effective? And it's like, dang, we didn't really consider that's what was going to happen.
Okay.
I know before we played the Clappers this week, like we were scrimming Dynamite, New Evans, and Jack, which isn't a real team. They're just friends who were like pubbing the other, asking if they wanted to play. And like we're like playing, like we won like I think 2 games by 1. I think we lost a game also. And we're just like, this isn't how the Clappers play. Like this isn't like what we're really preparing for. You know, it's more mainly just a warm up. But there's just some teams are just hard to prepare for, like play
Right.
style wise,
Yeah,
especially
but
compared to how they play versus like normal teams.
it honestly does excite me though to see like how much variety there actually can be in play styles and systems, and how people choose to play against different styles of teams and matching them. And it's just interesting how the meta is kind of evolving in that way.
To bounce off that play style idea or topic, like I think that the reason the baguettes are super interesting of like a conversation is because like they were so hot in the beginning, like before the season started, like just scrimming. They were like demolishing everybody. You know what I mean? Like people thought
Yeah.
they were gonna be stuck in open and have to just tear through the division just to get up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it was a waste of time for them to
Yeah.
even be there.
But this is what I think is interesting is that like I feel like a big reason of why they did so well, and it kind of like in my opinion shot them in the foot or like gave them false confidence, was I feel like they were so good because like you'd never seen them play before as like a team, or like all three of them really playing together besides like pubs and like very early on. But like they've seen everybody play before. Like all the teams, like they were coming in with basically like a hidden strategy almost. Like Rodeo was saying like, oh, this isn't how the Clappers play. Like he's looking at like certain teams is like play style where like you don't really know how they play together yet. So I feel like they had like a very big advantage in the beginning, and it kind of came back to like bite him in the foot almost, because I feel like it gave people time to kind of adapt to them. I don't know if that's right or that's just how it feels to
No,
me.
I agree with that. I think the Baguettes had such a different play style than anybody else,
Right.
and it was definitely you needed to adapt to that to win. Like we had a very close game against them. Um, we pulled through though. We won by 1 regulation somehow, but yeah, they kind of collapsed. But it's definitely a hard team for just not even mainly the Clappers. I guess mainly the Clappers. We play in this 3 zone, up, mid, and back. And when they lock me off, it's very hard to get opportunities.
Yeah, they're. I mean, when we scrimmed them too, because I know I hate going back to preseason because it really doesn't matter anymore. But like they were like giving us like a really hard time. Like they were winning majority of like the 15-minute games versus you, and then we would scrim them, and like we would lose a game, but then we'd win like 2 or 3, and we're like we're beating these guys consistently. But I know I just know that beating them consistently, even though they're beating you guys, isn't like a fair measure of like where we all are as teams, you know.
Right.
Mm,
And it is a really annoying team to play against because they're really good at locking down the top man,
yeah,
which I felt against them in scrims.
and that's what we based our play style off of almost coming out of
Yeah.
season 1 or open, not open, sorry, uh, the placement season.
Yep.
Placement,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of based our play style around me getting the puck, looking for a pass or a shot, and they did well to lock that down. Now with Renard, I didn't really watch any of the games. With Renard, do they have FSI still playing back more or Renard?
Um,
Anybody know?
I can't say with confidence.
Yeah, I couldn't say either, to be honest.
I don't
I
think
feel
I've
like they
watched
I
an
feel like they
SPL
might
game.
rotate, and it's more so just Oceloth playing up, like is more of a hard position.
Well,
Yeah.
like that's the thing is like I feel like if you can't like off the top of your head just say who's doing what, I feel like that's part of like a team's problem. Like I feel like I can
Yeah.
look at like the best teams like, oh, this person plays this person brings up the puck. Like I can be like, okay, this person does this on each team. I feel like the teams that are struggling the most with what I would say like is called like role identity, or like you have too many or two people playing like the same role, or they're not fit to the let's call it like the 1-2-3 meta, like we were saying before, like one up top, one mid, and one back. Like you have two people that like are two twos like playing, or two mid players and nobody that can score the puck, or you have like two scorers and nobody to like bring up the puck. You know what I mean? I feel like with any good team, you should be able to like immediately identify who's doing what. Like I feel like if I'm on a team, you probably know like I'm bringing up the puck, like I'm not scoring the puck. You know what I mean? And I feel like for a lot of teams, like I can't really say with confidence like who's what position. So I feel like that's a big problem right now that like I definitely want to talk more on to like get people to identify their roles and actually like play it in like okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people don't really do that.
Like I said last time, the last time I recorded this,
Rip.
I think FSI should stop playing that almost goalie role that never works on any team because you can't have a goalie anymore.
Right.
Just it doesn't work. You need somebody to be able to clear the puck and
Especially against teams that don't also have goalies. So that's
Yeah.
what I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
So
if
I
it's
know-
gonna be fair, like maybe.
I'm not saying FSI can't clear the puck, but I'm saying that he is
It'd
definitely
be
more
more
skilled.
beneficial.
Yeah, it'll definitely be more beneficial for him to play maybe the mid role or the 2 role
Right.
and
Well, I think
have
for
back.
what Chris said, like about just kind of acknowledging what you are or where you fit in is really important. Like it's a really important step for us to take as a community that hasn't really been taken. Like I think there's a lot of people holding on to this idea of like always wanting to constantly do everything or play solo even, or just I'm going up, I'm going back, I'm passing it, I'm doing this, I'm setting it up, I'm making the goals. But it can just be really confusing, like to play with people like that,
Right.
because you're like, okay, so you're gonna just do everything, and then I'm like, where am I gonna go? So I've noticed that the more you can define the roles, the more clear it is, and I feel like things just like kind of start working
Right.
better than like, oh, let's just feel it out and like do what's natural. Well, unless you have like twin energy, which only, as far as I know, 2 people in the community have, then you're probably not going to be able to just kind of like go with the flow and like make it work. So I really like the idea of the 1-2-3 system. We do it on the omelets. I'm obviously a 3. I've acknowledged that, despite in pubs, I think that anyone like can consider themselves to be something else. Everyone just goes solo ham in pubs, but pubs are not a reflection of how the competitive game is actually played.
I also don't think like the number rules like just because you're 3, I don't think means like you're the third most skilled player. Yeah, like you can still score goals as a 3, but you just need to be more set up to do so.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I think we see that in Virginia with Steve or Sheffrino being the 3. He has probably the most like handles / angles on the team,
Yeah.
and
That's
I
from
think
the Clappers, too.
he might lead them in goals. Steve, well, maybe only by a couple, but I just don't think. I think it's more so just positioning than it is like how you rank a team's skill. Like I don't think you need to have your best player up top or
No,
anything
yeah.
like that.
I think it's
Yeah.
just what's more beneficial. Like I feel like I'm probably like one of the best passers. So even if I like wanted to be good at scoring, I feel like even if I was good at scoring, like I'd be so much better if I would be passing and let somebody else scoring. Like I feel like the trade off isn't worth it almost. You know what I mean? Like the example I used last time was like I feel like Panther is like one of the most slept on like deep finishers like in the game. And I feel like on the Fisherman, like he wasn't really like utilized like that. I feel like he was more of like the person bringing up the puck, or I felt like it kind of should have been new weapons bringing it up, and you had like Panther and Dino up top. And I feel like those really good finishing ones are like super hard to come by. So I feel like if you
Definitely.
can build around them, like you can build a strong team that can like feed them the puck, then it's only going to be like force the other team to pay so much attention to them. That's going to open up like scoring opportunities for everyone else. You know what I mean? Like if like meat or rodeo is the number one super down low and they're getting doubled, like that means the 2 and the 3 are gonna just have like way more space. So that's when you gotta like step up. And I feel like teams don't have that because they don't have roles, so they can't like identify even who's doing what, or like you can't even adapt to like what the other team's doing because you don't even have a plan yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the point is, we're crying out for Slapshot teams, for your sake, for our sake, for the sake of the meta of the community. For the love of God, please
For the sake of baguettes.
consider that there are roles in the game. It's
Right.
not all fluid. Not everyone plays the same. Everyone, I feel like, has a sort of natural inclination. Like they just are better at certain things, and like that's not to say that you can't practice and improve and be more well-rounded. But when you're playing competitive, you're gonna like play a certain role more often than not, and that's the experience that you're getting. So the reality is, if you play as a 3, and that's your thing, stick to that and don't try to like force something else if it's not comfortable.
Right.
And I think a lot of teams like could actually end up being better, or we could come up with like more well-rounded teams if people stop playing with the same people,
I was
and
gonna say,
instead like mix it up based on like, oh, I'm a 1, you're a 2, you're a 3.
right.
Like, let's get together and make magic,
Well, it's hard because you obviously want to play with people you like. So it's like, do you prefer to play with people you like that might not like win you the whole thing and you're gonna have fun, or do you actually want to win? You know what I mean? So I feel like if you fall in the you actually want to win category, then like I feel like it's almost impossible to win without having established like 1, 2, 3. Like obviously there's like little things you might be able to switch around, but I feel like you can't be like, okay, we have nobody who can really like finish or score the puck, so we're just gonna like make it work. Like I feel like that's not gonna consistently win you in playoffs or even just games. You know what I mean? So it's tough to like find people that you like playing with that also want to win, that also like fit the meta per se. So
yeah. Well, I don't think there's too many people in the community that are like straight up completely disagreeable, like, oh, I'd never play with them.
right.
And then within the 1, 2, 3 category, there's a plethora of options. Like, say
Yes.
it was an open free agency, or even a new format that involves like setting things up that way, like pairing up a 1, 2, and a 3,
Yeah, yeah.
to kind of optimize teams. Like, even if it's just for a tournament or something, I think it would be really interesting to see what does the game actually look like when we try to optimize the teams. And I
Right.
think that's what AIA's intention was with the whole Puppet Master tournament that never came to be because of, such and such scandal. But beside the point, I think that would have been really cool to see, because his idea was like to mix people up and choose people that he thinks would have been really good together based on those roles. But if we could bring back that idea and just see how it plays out, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, like the 1, 2, 3 pugs we were talking about.
And if you're looking for if you don't watch every game and you don't know like players' positions or like their tendencies or whatever, and you're looking to build a team for like another season of competitive Slapshot, check the description of this. We're gonna post a Slapshot census, which has like your position, like if you prefer offensive, defensive settings, all that. Try to get as much information as possible on all the competitive Slapshot players, and then release that info to the public so they have that as a resource to build their teams that hopefully elevate the level we see on average per team.
The
Yeah, and
Slappy Census.
that could be used for anything. That could be
Yeah.
used for SPL now. Say in like the off season, there's usually a lot of people that leave teams. Maybe more this time if we can start talking about this. Is like, let's maybe mix things up. So with this Slappy Census,
Yes.
if you will, we can have people sort of not rate themselves, but just share a little more about themselves as like public info. So you know what you're looking at. Like if someone rates themselves as a 3, you know, whether you should consider them or not for their team based on that. Or if we could do like a tournament or something, like that's kind of undecided, but at least as a resource for like managers or team captains, whatever you want to call it, it could be really cool. And then also just to see like a graph of like how does the Slapshot community divide themselves.
I think
Right.
that's the only thing good about a draft league, because we had people sign up as what position they think they are, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think that was the only cool thing about a draft league. The only thing,
Yeah.
other than the draft itself. But yeah, it's good to know where your teammates think they play in order to work around them better.
I agree.
I think it'll be
Also-
interesting when people. Sorry, Rodeo. I think
No,
it'll be
you're good.
interesting when people fill it out to see if there's any people who are like, "Oh, this person's like definitely a 2, like they're not a 1," or somebody's like, "Oh, I'm definitely a 1." Like it'll be interesting to see like what people think they are compared to like what we think they are. And when you guys do fill it out, like please just try to be honest, like a personality test. Like even if you don't like being a 3 or you think you're a 1 or whatever, just put what you're best at or what you actually think you would be good at or best at, I should say. Don't just
Yeah.
don't just lie and be like, yeah, I'm a 1. So
Yeah, I'm a
can you guys define what the rules are so people don't get confused? Like 1, 2, 3. Like what's a 1? What's a 2? Like give examples of people and whatnot. So
well.
Louis,
I
go
think-
ahead.
I mean,
As the
For-
1, I think we have
Rodeo,
two
go
of them
ahead.
here with me and Meatsale.
right.
yeah, I would say
Where's the-
Rodeo's like a definitive 1, like someone who finishes the puck.
Walrus.
You know, sometimes Rodeo will be like back, and then when he just decides he's going to score 4 goals, he'll go up and do it. And that's what a 1, not what a 1 has to do. Rodeo's just an example of someone who can do that, but 1s put the puck in the net. You know,
Right.
Mhm.
Like your primary, like get the puck in this person's hands and they score the goal.
yeah. As another example, on the omelets, finally getting things working here with me always having been a 3. Scods is like the definitive 2, and we'll get there. And then Dino Mike like really filled it out for us because me and Scods have been playing together since NSL season 1.
He was a great pickup for you guys.
Yeah. And then Dino Mike was like the perfect one to fill it out because he is a 1. You know, he puts the puck in the net one way or another. I don't know if he's like the fanciest player. He doesn't really have a reputation as being that, but he's kind of a grinder. You know, he just makes it happen.
Right.
And one way or another, the puck ends up in the net. So I'd say that's what a 1 is.
All right. Number 2 or a 2.
I think 2s. Scods, I think, might be like Scods is like the OG 2 in my book.
Definitive 2. Yeah.
I think
That's
now
why I've
you
stuck
see
with him for
Wrath
so long.
pick up the 2, which I really like the way Wrath plays because he has more defensive touch to it, where he's like trying to force turnovers and then pass it up to their 1, which is usually Seppi, which I think works really well for them.
I really wish I could put FSI as a 2 right now.
Yeah, I know. FSI was like the best 2 in season 1.
So
Besides like maybe Dream, but Dream doesn't play it like you would think of it. I don't know. He doesn't really do it the same way
guess-
that like Wrath and other people in Scods do it.
the short way that I would put being a 2 is just you're the setup guy. Like you're the one probably gonna get the most assists, and you're constantly feeding the finisher one way or another. You know, you're
I don't know
playing,
how
Scods
true
also
that
playing the
or
is.
bridge.
Scods in my book, especially for a 2, you gain huge points if you have like a at least like a decent finishing touch. Because
Yeah.
I know especially I think Meat does it a lot too. If I get the puck down low and I don't see an opening for a shot, I'm like trying to make a move and then dish it out front, and the 2 is usually the guy who should be there.
Right.
Definitely.
I don't
Or
necessarily
say you
think,
don't have the pass to the number 1, that you have that
Yeah.
eye where you can just take the shot instead.
Yeah.
Or in the case of some of the star players, like the top number 1s, they'll just like when they play against a team that's not as good, they'll just play shutdown on that one guy. They're like, oh, this is the guy who scores goals. We're just gonna shut down this guy for the whole game.
Right.
Well, when they put that much attention on one guy in your team, the 2 all of a sudden has all that extra space like you were talking about, and then can start scoring goals for himself. So
I don't necessarily think the 2 is the one that gets the most assists, because the 3s, and we'll also get to that, are the ones that do clear it out and dump the puck deep to either the 1 or the 2.
Yeah, I don't-
which
yeah.
well,
finishes it.
as a 3, I have a
But I
bone to
don't-
pick with that.
Really?
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, if you play like a 1-2-3 system as a 3, you might get fucked over a lot. Like
Well-
if I'm quarterbacking it from behind the net, I pass it up to my 2. He passes it cross crease to the 1. 1 puts it in. I'm not getting credit. There's no secondary
yeah, that's
assist.
true.
But I mean,
if you look at someone like Panarin, who has, I think, almost the most assists, or he's
Yeah.
really up there,
He's second, I think.
Yeah, he's pretty much R3, or he is R3.
Yeah.
And I think the two rule is more of you need to know when to go back or when to go up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
I
points
agree.
come. The points do come. I think
Yeah.
2 is such an important rule because people look at 2s like, yeah, he's just the filler, or
Uh,
he's just the guy that just
No, that's
lets the
true.
teammates do the thing.
I would
I
say
As
think
the
like
2, you
2
have
is
to
so
be
important.
pretty well rounded and like fill in up top,
Yeah.
like to get those goals, and also like fill in at the back. Like one great thing about Scods is that if I see a chance to go farther up than usual, he'll fill in behind me and like make sure that we're secured. So
right.
as a 3, it's great having someone like that because I feel confident when I leave the net that we're not just going to get immediately scored on,
Mhm.
which could be the case. And that's what I think leads to people like just playing the goalie role, is because they can't trust any of their teammates to actually fill in for
Yeah.
them and protect the net.
The thing I would say is like what a 2 is. It's like almost like it's like an off-brand number 1 that can score a little like almost as good, not as good as a number 1, but your like spatial awareness is like what's the biggest like difference in being a good 2 and like a bad 2. Because like if you fumble the puck and like if you go for a pass too deep and you turn it over, like there's no one back on defense besides your 3, and that's just like odd man rushes. And like that's what I feel like happens to the Baguettes a lot, is like they get these turnovers and like the number 2 is like too far up and they play so aggressive on defense that it's so many like 2-on-1 opportunities the other way. So like I feel like the number 2 is like responsible for like the offense and the defense almost. You know what I mean? Like if they're not playing positionally like aware, there's gonna be like a lot of missed goal opportunities and a lot of turnovers like going the other way or like odd man rushes. So I think 2 is like it's like probably one of the hardest roles in my opinion,
Yeah.
if
You
not
have to
the
be really
hardest to be really
versatile.
good. Yeah, you have to be able to score, play good defense, catch passes, and pass to the number 1. You know what I mean? So it's really tough.
All right, tell me about number 3s.
You, Panarin, they're the ones that need to stay back the most and make sure everything is locked down.
Yeah, you got to be watching for
It's-
like the wall shots, like just
It's tough
full
together.
icers.
Yeah.
But also
Because-
need to be able to clear the puck. And
Yeah.
that's the bottom line. You need to be able to clear the puck as a 3.
Yeah.
I would
and
say
stretch
another thing
passes.
that defines like the 1-2-3 roles is you have one on the puck, you have one watching the pass, you have one watching the net, and that's on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So your 1 usually might be forechecking on the puck. You've got your 2 breaking those passes up, and you've got your 3 always kind of in front of the net. When he goes back behind the net to retrieve the puck, the 2 might fill in at the net. And then once he's got clear possession, he might start streaking up, looking for that breakout, like reception. But 3s definitely, they're probably making the most defensive plays. Again, it sucks that like that type of play isn't necessarily rewarded by the actual in-game systems. Like saves are a little wonky. Like I said, no
Yeah.
secondary assists. So a lot of the time, it's like a thankless job. You're not going to get as much recognition. It also doesn't look as sick. You also don't score as many goals. But I mean, it's still important. Someone's got to
very important.
Someone's got to do it, and like Rodeo said, it's not always the worst person. It just takes a different type of thinking and a different skill set. I feel like
Well,
Every role is as important as the other.
right. Yeah. I
definitely.
think
I
they're
mean, it's a
all equally
3-person
important.
team. If one person's fucking up, the whole team's gonna fall apart.
Well, it's
So,
like if Meat can't have anybody to get him the puck, he can't score it down the other end. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
it's the same thing. Like if somebody's not across the ice threatening a pass, and like if it's the 2-on-1 the other way, then like if somebody's not threatening close enough to the net, the goalie's not gonna bite on a pass or a shot. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think what's interesting about like this, I think it'll open up a lot more people to like look at like I feel like the top 20 list. That's why I didn't like it before, was because I feel like say like not that I want to do this, but a top 5 list of each position, like a top 15 of 5 is better than okay, who's the best 15 players? Because I think you can actually like evaluate, okay, like who do we think the top 5 best number 1s are? Who are the top number 2s? Who are the top number 3s? And I think people can actually like relate to that list a little more, because then they're going to be like, oh, okay, like I play this position. I definitely think that I could see why these people are like where they are. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that's like also super interesting.
When you lump them all into one class, it can be hard to like rate such different skill sets as
Right.
actually like evenly, you know, and to
Exactly.
be fair. Because I mean, at the end of the day, scoring goals is how you win games. So you might rate the players who finish as being the best players in the game, because I mean, realistically, they're making that impact. But it's a lot of the time the people behind the scenes who are enabling them to be able to actually score so much.
Yeah, quarterback, wide receiver, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's a good point. And then just being like starting these discussions is so important, because like the more aware you are of these things, the more conscious you are. I feel like we can start moving forward as a community and as a meta, and like, having these discussions, people can start to see where they fill in, and
like
we,
the best way I can translate it is like back in the day. I don't know if you guys ever played League of Legends back in the day, even just like for fun. But like in rank mode, they never used to have like they used to never have like roll queue. Like you just queued up with 5 random people and y'all just like figured it out during champ select. You were like,
Yes,
yeah,
man.
bro, like I'm playing this. You're like, nah, bro, I'm playing that. And you're like, nah, bro, I'm not fucking playing that. Fuck you. Like you're supporting. Now it's like everything's queued up. Everybody has rules, and like I feel like that's just developed people to like the game more and like follow certain teams more and just like have an overall like better time playing the game. Because like not that I think the game's obviously big enough to do that to the certain point, but I'm saying like if you're playing in a league, like yeah, competitively, I think that like that's what you should be looking for. Like you should be looking to build a structure, not being like, oh fucking Wrath's good and Meatsale's good and Baluch is good.
Jack.
Yeah, I like this guy and I like this guy, so let's play together. And then you play and like, bro, we're all good and we're just not winning. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And then people just like keep playing with the same people because like they're your friends, which is totally fine. But if you want to win, like you need to start like structuring your team like a role queue almost.
Yeah, that's why I felt it's been a little bit stagnant, and that's the perfect like analogy is with League of Legends and the whole role queue thing.
Used to hop in with the midder feed.
Literally,
Run it
dude.
down.
Yeah, run it down. Exactly.
Get me mid or I run it down.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
the
Like
classic.
that's how that feels to me. It's like obviously that's what pubs are. Like you just get in a game and you kind of like just go with the flow. But like I don't think that's how it should be. Like when you form a team, especially like one that you choose who you play with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
if you can choose whoever you want to play with.
right. Like
imagine choosing people that are like not going to be optimal.
Right.
I mean,
also, hopefully. Sorry, now you go.
No, I was gonna say depending on the system, obviously people are like locked up in this and that. But if we can all be like mature about this and like look at our best options and just like not stay locked in with people just because that's like who we play with. And this isn't for everyone. Like some people have figured it out. Like some people have the 1, 2, 3 and it's all set and it's cool. And like for those people, just keep doing what you're doing. But for other people, it's like let's mix it up. Do something different.
Also, hopefully, if people like really learn how to like build good teams, I think there's a conversation to be had for like expanding the SPL Pro Division to 10 teams. If
Definitely.
if the 7 and 8 teams can kind of, they need to make some awesome moves to kind of figure their stuff out. But hopefully, there's more than enough good players to make 10 good teams.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I think the reason we see such a drop off from like the 4 seed, well, actually maybe the 6. I mean, they're only from 4, 5, and 6 have 3 and 4 wins, but then 7 and 8 are both 1 and 7. So there's just like a huge drop off in how the teams perform. And I think with a few changes, and especially how they position their players, I think we would see things even out a lot more.
Right. And I think in competitive, a lot more of it comes down to like less fancy stuff and more positional play. Like I don't feel like I'm very fancy, but I feel like I'm a very good like competitive player. But like I'm not one of the fanciest people. So I feel like even those bottom teams, like I don't feel like it's a lack of skill. I just feel like it's literally just a lack of structure, like in their team, causing like a bunch of little things to add up to a lot of turnovers or a lot of missed goals or shit like that. So I think any team could have like I think it's hockey technically. Like any team can make a run like in real hockey as long as you have a good structure.
You need to like who you're playing with.
Yes.
You can't set up a team and then act as if they're not your friends and you only play this game with them and then expect to do good.
Yeah, you do have to actually like work on your
chemistry.
system and like work on different situations. Like, what are we gonna do when this happens, or when we play against these guys, and actually like try those things out instead of playing for 15 minutes a week.
You need to form chemistry in and out of the game. I think That's why the baguettes were made out to be so good because they're all really close.
Yeah. I think they'll keep putting it together and improve.
No, yeah, I think
I wouldn't be surprised to see him finish at like number 4,
yeah.
which is
Now,
not bad at all.
now how do the playoffs are just the top 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's 1 and 2 get a bye, 3 plays 6, and 4 plays 5.
Okay. Now there's 6 games left, right?
Yep.
Estimate. Now, what 2 teams do you think are gonna? Is it? Do you think it's definitive the 2 teams that are gonna fall are the 2 teams that are there now, or do you think there's a chance that somebody could climb out?
Shit would have to go horribly wrong for it to change
Really?
for the 5 and 6 teams. I mean, if you're there, I mean, they both are the 5 and 6 are both up 2 games on 7 and 8 with 6
Okay.
games left. Like that's a pretty big swing.
Yeah.
How'd you say
Um,
the playoffs work?
I
1 and 2
believe
get a
1 and
bye.
yeah, I think
Why
so. And then
why doesn't
3
1 play 6, 2 play 5, and 3 plays 4?
because then you have.
I
I mean,
understand.
it's an
'Cause
odd
then you have-
number of
Because then
games,
somebody
right?
needs to bye. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you have somebody
Yeah.
playing an extra game, unless 2 teams
Okay.
got to buy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Go off.
Ignore me. Ignore me.
Yeah, it's just a real. I mean, it could happen. I don't know the. Well, actually, a lot of it's strength of schedule, but I mean, you still have to. Pretty much right now, everyone's playing the same teams over again,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and with how it went the first time, I don't see either of those teams climbing out, to the
Well,
5 or 6.
So that's a good thing to bring up though is so we basically play not every team twice, but we're getting around in the cycle where we're going to start playing the same teams that we played in the first couple weeks, and we're going to play them again. So what do you see going differently from what happened in the first couple weeks and what's going to happen in the last 3 weeks here?
I think there you go.
No, you go ahead.
I think the sale probably. I think the sale are gonna end up as the 5. I think I don't know who they I don't because this past week was the first time you played a team twice.
Yeah.
You played the last team that you hadn't played yet, and then you played the first team you played twice. So we played Virginia for the second time, so we're done with them. I don't know who the sale played for the second time. It might have been Denver, I think. Was it you guys?
I can't remember.
Yeah. But I think they beat Burgers and Hoots this time. I don't know if they didn't before, but I just think they finished higher than the Baguettes.
I
That's
honestly,
what I'm trying to say.
really.
Yeah. I
I
mean, they're
honestly
both
think
3 and
everything
5.
stays the same. Maybe if Baguettes pick it up, they pass Virginia, but I don't think Sale's gonna move. I think
Well,
Sale's
the
staying at 6.
sale play the Hootenannies next. So if they lose that game, the Hootenannies are a game behind, and then the sale play the Clappers immediately after that, like 2 days later. So if we can maybe pencil in, let's say, a loss to both of those teams, like I don't know, I could see it being close. If they lose to the Hootenannies, it'll be close, man. Like
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Sale beating Denver helps so much because that's a
Yeah.
game the Bags probably won't win.
yeah.
So that's pretty much a game up.
I think it'll come down to the last week, to be honest. Like the last 2
Yeah.
games.
Oh,
Like,
agreed. The standings are really close for 4, 5, and 6.
yeah.
For 1, 2, and 3 too.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a drop between 3 and 4 though, so I think you'll see 1, 2, and 3 shuffle around a bit, 4, 5, and 6 shuffle, and then
Yeah.
7 and 8 might swap or.
Huh.
Whatever.
Before the season started, we were talking about how when we finally got to like relegate to the pro and open, how much more competitive it was going to be for both divisions. And I think we've totally seen that, with the exception of maybe a couple at the bottom of both, or at the top, I guess. Maybe the top of open division and the bottom of pro division. They kind of separate, but that's the whole point. And I think it only gets better as things go on.
Okay. Well, I know we don't know much about Open, but I have to give a quick shout out to the Ireland Pepe Tactics. I did not expect them to be 6-1 with their roster. I mean, I don't know if it's strength of schedule or if it's them playing. Like I haven't watched Open, so I can't say.
Just
obviously,
looking at the standings,
just
but I don't think
pure
any of us would have
numbers.
expected that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have expected like maybe like the Cyclone or like the fried chickens.
The fried chicken have been underperforming.
Right. So I think that, I got to shout them out. Obviously, I think the Clompers were a good team. They're in second. They're definitely in position to move up if they continue playing the way they do. But I think that's like a good underdog story so far. I mean, you have what's the team? You have this Dave, who I personally have never seen in my life. I don't even know who that is. Shout out to Dave.
Is that like Kalamazoo Kraken Dave or a different Dave?
I don't know.
I think that might be. I don't think it's like
Phil
Phil
Kessel?
Kessel. No, I don't think
No.
so.
Different
But I
Dave.
think their starting roster is Kyler. Kyler's really good.
Yep.
Kyler is really good.
Timmy's cracked now.
Yep. And then you have
Kyler
Yeet and
Timmy are the come
Kavino.
up.
Yeah, Kyler and Timmy are like the main.
They're
duo,
both
I think
they're both like finally finding their groove in the game and like
Mhm.
making their way, and I could see him in pro division.
Kyler is always
Yeah.
DMing me, asking me what he's doing wrong. I try to give him tips. Seems like he
Yeah.
really wants to know how to play the game.
He's
how
a
to get better.
grinder.
Yeah, he is a big grinder.
Okay.
See him on every day. Every single time I pub, he asks me if I want to party up or
So he's
what he's
shooting
doing wrong.
shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch, especially when he
trying.
comes up to pro. I know. I do want to throw out that for the Open, especially not all the teams play the same amount of games per week. So like Cyclone are 4-1 and Pepitax are 6-1. So like they just have 2 more games played. Same with like Clompers, like they're 5-1. So they only have 6 games played, but you'll see those even out as the weeks start to finish off.
That's true.
So it just kind of give a false narrative to the standings, but you'll see it even out as the weeks go on.
They're
Yeah.
clapping teams too.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Like they might just have their roles like figured out, and they're just going
Mhm.
hard. You know what I mean? Like I said, I haven't watched Open, but when you look at like the chicken team, they're the Pyongyang Chickens. You just assume you see the 3 names, and you're like, oh, they're gonna dominate. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that whole baguettes thing all over again. Where you look at the names and you think like, oh shit, this is gonna be a top 3 team right now, like right off the bat, and like they're coming out obviously a little slow. So it's like, what's that about? Is that possibly the same issue? Are the payday tactics just all on the same page about their roles? So now I really want to pay attention, like as the season kind of winds down, to see who's gonna get promoted up. So
Yeah, there's the Open game to watch this week's the Clompers play the Cyclone, and the winner of that gets the 2 spot for now.
wow,
So
yeah.
that should be a good game.
Timmy's really been pushing in. He used to only play goalie, but he's clearing the puck really well. I've seen Pugs, really the only place I see it.
Yeah, he throws some
And-
dimes now too.
yeah.
He's starting to like look for the pass before he goes to the dump
Yeah,
option, which is
yeah.
a huge thing for threes. Like the worst thing is you'll see, like if you have like a random 3 on a team and like you make a play, like make space and you're wide open, then they just dump it down like the other side when you
Ugh.
when you just see like the huge
Yeah.
space where you could have made a play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think he's starting to get that where he's like making the read on what's happening up the ice
Which
and
he used to
making the
be
call
doing.
whether to dump it or to pass it.
Yeah.
No, that's same thing. So that's 3 weeks left as well.
Think so, right? Same schedule.
Yes. Yeah, that's why their number of games is so weird because they have way more teams than pro, so they play the same amount of weeks, but their games per week vary because they only play each team once.
Okay, so one of the last things we can talk about. I wouldn't say last. One of the next things we can talk about. The Slap 2 sneak peek that we didn't really get to talk about since last week.
Slapshot rebound.
Yeah,
Rebound.
Slapshot rebound. Care to dive in? Obviously, Belucci and Rodeo can talk a little more soft spoken than Meat and I. Meat and I will just have objective opinions because we don't know anything. Belucci and Rodeo play the new game, so they can talk a little different
Tearing
about it
up
than
right
us.
now.
Yeah. All right. So, Belucci,
Yes.
what give us some insight that you can give so
Actually,
far.
I know.
It's,
Actually,
it's better. It's cooler. It's awesome. The puck goes in the air. And all that entails. I don't feel weird telling you that I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's going to add a lot more dynamic gameplay and options. And it's an unpredictable element and also a predictable element that you can control in
I was gonna say
it has both sides.
I was gonna say Irv did leak the part about the new way it works, correct?
Yeah, he in Slapshot I think
Slapshot.
last night. He's been got some loose lips in Slapshot the past few nights. I mean, I
Right.
guess it's more of a reveal than a leak because
Shit,
Yeah,
I gotta stay on
it's
that.
all shit. But yeah. Wait, what?
So I have to stay on top of that.
Yeah,
yeah, dude, it's been at like 4
yeah,
a.m. He's just like
exactly.
dropping
Yeah.
photos and shit, like
Yeah.
scoreboard pics.
All you have to
I'm
do
throwing
is
up right now.
you don't
Yeah.
have to get him drunk. You just have to get him sleepy and
Yeah.
spilling the beans.
After 16 hours of work, he wants to tell somebody about something so he can feel like accomplished. You know what I mean? Like,
just a crumb.
yeah, just a crumb of appreciation. You know what I mean? But so
Crumb.
the reason I
Yeah,
brought it
he did
up.
say-
Sorry, I don't need to.
he, no, he did say, if anyone didn't see it, he did say that you use a button to activate puck lift.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be really nice.
Which is, I know a lot of people have that question. I don't know if it was spoken on before, but he did confirm it the other night in Slapshot.
Right, because my
Oh,
biggest
cool.
worry was that without being able to control it, like when you pass or shoot or like even stick handle a little too fast, like it would create like almost uncontrollable like RNG on like how the puck would move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was like my biggest worry, and now that that's like taken care of, I'm like so excited that it's already been revealed. Like I don't have to wait a month or two to like figure it
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think that was the big feature that was shown in the teaser. But I mean, additionally, it's like the big gameplay shakeup. Or there's a couple other things here and there, but a lot of the design of Slapshot Rebound is more in some of the supporting elements of the game, like making sure that the matchmaking and the tracking and the stats and the graphics and everything is all working together as a more cohesive package, and that it's a little more feature complete than the first one.
yep.
I think that puck lifting, like we saw in the teaser, when he redirected it while it was in the air, bar down. I think that'll bring a lot of new mechanics to the game.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play with that.
Yeah, it was definitely a really, like, getting access, like when that was like added, it was like really like insane to like you kind of realize that was like what Slap Rebound was going to be. Well, we called it Slap 2 at the time, but like you just kind of had a realization that like when everyone like gets their hands on it, like even crazier shit's going to happen, and like so many
Right.
sick goals and all stuff like that.
Like it's coming to life, like right before
Yeah.
your eyes. Like,
Mhm.
okay. That it for Slap Rebound, really?
That's all I got. I mean,
right.
you'll find out more in the coming weeks.
Right.
Yeah,
Sign
keep your
up
eyes on
the alpha.
Slapchat for fucking Loose Lip Irv at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
10 a.m. his time.
So the last part that I want to talk about is a mailbag question from Dino Mike that definitely has a lot of layers to it. It's going to take us a little bit to get through all of it because I have a pretty lengthy answer. But he said, talk about what competitive scenes you guys have all been a part of and what Slapshot 2, or Slapshot Rebound, I should say, needs for it to be successful and not get stuck in the Slap 1 player-based death that happened before me, Chris, was even a slapper. And then he said that's what he wants to know. I'm going to tie in a little bit of player retention. He didn't really ask about that, but I have a few things that I feel like could help with that. So give me
that is kind of what it all boils
right,
down
yeah,
to.
it boils down to that. So I think that I can tie in a few of those. So give me your
Here we go
ideas.
again. Here we go again.
Shut up, Nate.
Well, I'm
For
an
the-
ex-pro HQM player.
Which is hockey
So
question
big.
mark for anybody that doesn't know what
Question
HQM
mark.
is.
First person.
YouTube that shit. Game's impossible. Fuck that game.
I recommend playing it. It takes a little bit to get down, but very fun. There's probably 0 people on every single server, but you can get the hang of it. It's
Yeah, with 4,000 hours. Yeah.
yeah. I probably like 10,000 hours on that game, but it's you need a tight community, like we said last time.
Yep.
I know it's gonna be a little repetitive for us, but you need a tight community. You need people to get involved. You need, because there was a TeamSpeak. We used to use TeamSpeak. It was as far back.
Jesus.
We made a Discord, but that's when the game was dying. But like everybody was in that TeamSpeak a lot too. There was a lot of channels, a lot of different people talking, not even on Hockey Question Mark, playing different games with each other, and that really made the game stay alive for a long period of time. Because there were no new people joining that game. Everybody knew it was dying, and it was only like the 7-year veterans and the 3-year veterans and that were still playing, and for some reason people stayed with it for a long time. And I don't think it's because the game was amazing. I think it's just because We were so tight as a community.
Yeah, I tried to get into it really late, and it was not easy.
Yeah, no,
As
you
a
can't.
new player, there was no options for me to like learn and grow, and there was no one really for me to play with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Because
I
we used
think-
to have an LHL, which is the Legends Hockey League, a JSO, which is juniors, and then we had one in between. Forgot what it was called.
RSL.
RSL, right? And the RSL was for, like some semi-skilled, and then the JSL was for like the new people that would play. But we removed JSL because
There were no new players.
there were no new players, so it was kind of just, we're not expecting anybody new anymore. But yeah, it's just how tight the community was.
Personally, I think as far as player retention, which I think overall, I think like retaining casual players is the biggest thing for a competitive scene, because then those players naturally look for like ways to grow in the game, and then like transfer that into being competitive players just by like slowly improving all their skills and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing for Slap 2 is a matchmaking or a ranked playlist, or just something to make pubs the way it is not right now. Because right now it's 300 join. It's me, Meat, and Steve queued at 2 a.m. Then they get forfeited in a minute and 30 seconds, and they're like, "Fuck you
They
guys,"
never
and
play
then leave
again.
the game.
Vermins.
We get insulted. They get forfeited, and then we all move on. They never play the game.
And they uninstall the game.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but I think with like any like simple matchmaking, even non-ranked matchmaking, you can find easy ways to avoid that with a proper player base.
Just some kind of nice elo system
Yeah.
implemented, because you always want to get your elo up, especially if it matters and there's ranks to it. You want to be like, that top guy. You want to be in diamond. You want to be in platinum.
Yeah.
You don't want to be stuck. You don't want to be a stuck silver while everybody's growing.
I think it matters the most in casual playlists though, because people especially don't want that to happen in casual. Like I think in ranked,
I didn't come here to sweat hard.
In ranked, that problem solves itself just by having the player base to actually split. Because right now in Slap 1, it splits the players up by elo, but if there's 40 people on, you're gonna have a 20-minute queue time to like get a good game.
Right.
Like in Slap 2, that's hopefully saved by having like retaining the launch player base by having them systems in place from the start, which Slap 1 didn't.
Right.
I think it'll be a lot of fun too, jumping in ranked and seeing people that and sweating against them. So they're just casually playing and AFKing because someone's at your door.
I'll bring up another topic about ranked after, since we might as well, since we're already on the topic. All right, Belucho, what do you think?
All right, Chris, go ahead.
All right, Belucho's muted right now. So I've been a part of like a lot of competitive communities. Like obviously I'm pretty deep in like the Fortnite scene. Before that, I was like pro in H1Z1. I was like pro level in PUBG. I wasn't like as deep in that community, but like I've played, Gears of War at a super high level. I was like top 100 in that. NHL, I was like top 100 in that. And like during all these games when I was growing up, like when I was really young, obviously there was like MLG and shit like that, but like I never knew like that there were like esports, or like there was like communities, or like there was things like I'm in now, like this community. Like I never really knew that those things like existed. So to me, like the biggest thing that I feel like you have to do in order to retain people is you have to give them an incentive to obviously keep playing the game. Like, even if it's like daily or weekly or monthly, like quests or like objectives that they have to do or shit like that. But also like, I feel like it's heavily advertising your community to the point where like you have to throw it at them so much. Like, hey, this is our Discord. Here are the leagues. Like, here's this. Cause like, I never asked that shit. I never even like figured it out. I just played the game and like I don't know those things exist. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not looking for that unless like I become so obsessed with the game that I want to figure it out. And that doesn't happen for 95% of players. Like it maybe happens like for maybe 2 or 3 out of every 100 players. So to me, like the biggest thing is like you have to show these people so much that these things exist that the only way that they don't know they exist or they don't participate in it is if they actively choose to to not like join the Discord or to not engage in the community, or like just have some way to integrate the Discord to like force them to join, to show them like, oh damn, there's all these people that like are actively playing this game. Even if there's only 20 or 30 people online, like at the time, or like whatever, there's 50 people online. Like they can join the Discord and be like, holy shit, there's fucking 2,000 people in here. You know what I mean? So I think that the biggest thing for Slap 2, just for the casual, is to like just bash them over the head with the fact that we have this awesome community to the point where they can't miss it. Because I lucked into it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't somebody who like, I didn't play the game a ton, and then I was like, damn, I really like this game. Like, let me find, like, the community is what made me want to play and keep playing more. Like, I probably would have quit the game if, like, I didn't know about any of this shit. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, it's just a game that, like, has 10 or 15 people. But, like, the more you see it, the more you want to stick around. So, to me, that's, like, the biggest thing. And for competitive, I think that the biggest thing is you just need 3 leagues. Because, like I said, you can't have, like, a pro and an open. I think there needs to be like 3 where you can start any team in the middle and then they can work their way up. But like I think just having 2, I think there's just too big of a skill gap for only 2 leagues. Obviously there's 2 now because of the amount of players that there are. But I think 3 is what would be ideal for Slap 2 or Slap Rebound. So I think competitively that's like the biggest thing. You need 3 leagues, and then casual, you just need to show like individual people who play that you have these great people and community leaders that are in the Discord and want people to continue to play.
You know what's funny about that? I was playing a streamer in a public game.
Yeah.
And I just checked out his stream because why not? And he seemed extremely new.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he was kind of enjoying the game. So I told him to join the Discord, and he was super surprised about how many people were in it.
Right. That's my biggest thing is like I lucked into it. And most people like because like I hear it all the time, like the people who say like, oh, you're a fucking virgin, you just play this game all day, this dead game, da 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 da. It's like it might be dead like player wise, but it's not dead in like terms of like spirit and community. You know what I mean? Like so many people are so passionate about
Like
the game that
outlook of
like
people.
yeah, like there's like a handful of people that like want the game to grow, so we can't be on the game 24/7. So like I feel like even if it's only, you know, a couple hundred people who join the Discord and maybe 50 to 100 of those people like keep playing, that's only gonna snowball and like add on to the 50 or 60 people who play every night. And then it's like, oh, now there's 110 people online. Then new people who come are like, oh damn, there's 100 people, instead of being like, hey, there's 30 people, and then you get matched up with fucking rodeo at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? So
I feel like that's kind of been happening too, though, which is exciting. Like the numbers have been going up.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think the only reason is because people get excited about seeing people.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just a snowball. Like I think you have to hit these people over the head so much that like what's your strength? Your strength is your community. The game is free to play, and then now we have all these new things coming, like obviously the pond and like the new physics and shit like that. So I think that like when the game starts out, like to get to like maximize your potential, you just have to literally fucking throw the kitchen sink at them and be like, yo, here's these fucking leagues. It's on, you know, these days of the night. Here's all the links to everything. Just make it super simple so people like, the only people who aren't going to know are people that actively choose to not join the Discord or just choose not to read any of it.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you'd have to be looking the other way to not see it.
Right, where I feel like now, like, you have to be somebody like Tyrant who joins and loves the game and searches it out himself. Like, I always wonder, like, how many people, if they joined and knew about all this shit, would actually want to get better instead of just wanting to get better because they like the game and then finding the shit out after. Like, give them a reason to stay in the game. You know what I mean? Don't make them, like, search it out themselves. And what I said before in the last podcast was, I forget what game I was playing, but there used to be a game where on like the top leaderboard, you could search the leaderboard, and then when you click on that person's profile, you could see like a top 5 or 6 highlights that they chose to like display like on their own like custom profile. And so to me, like when I was playing the game, I was like, oh damn, like I'm pretty good at this game. And then like I would watch them do this shit. I'm like, oh,
humble yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, let me check out the number 1 dude. I bet this dude's a bitch. You know what I mean? And then like he would do some whack shit, and I'm like, oh damn, like I want to fucking be like that. You know what I mean? So like I think another thing is like, if the game isn't being streamed, obviously, or like there's no big streamers playing it, I think the best thing you need to do in order to do that is have some in-game like integrated system to like show people that there are these people who are like really good. Because a lot of people just join a game with somebody that's like a high level, they see them fucking do some crack shit, like, oh, this kid's a virgin. Where if you saw like the leaderboard before you played, you'd be like, oh, this is what to expect. Like there are people who are this good. Like, oh, this game is popping. Like I think having a big leaderboard too, would also show people that like, oh, look at all these people who have played. Like the leaderboard's top 1,000 people have played. Where now it's like, okay, the leaderboard's like 10 people. There's 10 people playing the game right now. Is this game that dead? You know what I mean? Like, I just think that there's a lot that can be done. It's almost like a first impression. I think you really need to like show people on first impression, like, here are all these people, here's the Discord, here's the leaderboard, here's like highlights, here's players, here's like the teams in the pro league of SPL, shit like that. Like, you really have to impress people and make them want to search shit out, not just like hope they search shit out on their own, which is never going to happen unless you're a very rare person. Like I said, like Tyrant, like how many times has someone like Tyrant come around?
Yeah, I actually think it's pretty cool because I think it ties into like normal hockey a bit, where like hockey has like so much history. Like there's all like the cup winners and like
Right.
all, like the award
You
winners.
wanna
Like
be a
there's so
part of
much.
it.
Yeah, there's so much history you can build in the game, especially in like Slapshot, where I think showing that to the community like makes people want to stick around and like be a part of it. And also a side topic that I think I might have mentioned this to Belucha one time, but me and Dream were playing Smite one time. The game's trash, but um one thing I noticed that like really stuck out. This is around like I think around the time Slap 2 first got started, where I noticed it really heavily. Where right when you start the game, if you follow their Facebook, follow their Twitter, and join the Discord, you get a separate like little like starter skin for
Yep.
doing each.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Where like you can do it for Slap and give him like a fucking purple stick or like the
Yes.
snow hat from like make it like a Slap 1 Easter egg, like give him like the snow hat or whatever, like something dumb like that, and I guarantee so many new people will join just for the cosmetic.
Right, just for a cosmetic that is fucking free.
And I never like I almost always join games I'm playing Discord, but I never like follow the company's Twitter or especially Facebook. I don't know
Right,
who
like
uses Facebook, but I did it just for the Smite skins, and I only played that shit for 2 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
It all
And
comes
and
back
I still
to
follow them.
It all comes
Yeah,
back
'cause-
to in-game like integration. Like when Irv was trying to get 30 nitro boosts for like a short link on
Yeah.
Discord, I literally messaged him like, bro, why don't you just incentivize people and be like, hey, if you boost the Discord, you get a fucking purple stick that like shows you're a nitro Discord booster. Like
Yeah.
just anything that gets more people to just do free shit to get shit into game or to shit, like just anything like that, like integrating things outside the game and putting them into the game.
Or even like
Yeah.
with Rainbow Six Siege game I just started playing, you can do challenges to get different cosmetics and different skins. So even implementing something like that, like
Right.
score, I guess we are kind of already have that in Slap 1. If 3,000 goals, you get a hat.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
just more, I think more of that will get people playing more.
Yeah.
100%. More
I think the
creative
problem,
ones.
I think the problem I know with the side pass is that the later ones seem so impossible to do.
Yeah,
Like back in
yeah.
the day, I never thought I would have like hat trick or like any like the like especially like the
I
goalie ones.
still don't
like,
have that trick.
Yeah, I have the I literally got like maybe a month ago I got the last saves one and I boosted for half that shit. Like keeping the challenge, like having a lot of challenges, maybe like I don't know, monthly, weekly, I don't know how you would do it. But like just keeping them small so players like
Yeah.
keep coming back to do them. For
For the game winner in overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a million things you can do. But there's so many little things to retain more and more players and grow growing the Discord, growing like all the platforms, all that is like
Right.
super easy with just a bit of effort
Yeah.
from the devs and the community especially.
I think it all just needs to be, like I said, just so out there and open that you can't not know that it exists. So that way
And
anybody who wants to can do it.
also on the Discord boosting thing, shout out Jascon. He like gifted like 25 or something of those things. I don't know where the hell that came from, but Jesus Christ. Oh man.
Belucci, you didn't really get to speak, so do you have anything you want to add?
I mean, I've never been a part of another like competitive community, but all your guys' points are really awesome. One thing I can say is like my only experience would be like playing Slapshot, but and also working on it, and we realize all these things that were done so wrong, and like the second time around, we just want to do them right. So all these ideas are really helpful, and we've got ideas of our own that are along these same lines where we know that retention was always a big issue. New player experience is huge. First impressions are like the most important thing, because if someone plays it once, doesn't like it, doesn't find what they're looking for, well, they're never coming back. So
Right.
It's definitely something that we have our finger on, and basically, I always tell people that everything that we did wrong the first time, we're just gonna not do that. So, look forward to a lot of improvements and little retention things like that, more progression, all that.
Okay.
Anything else on that?
That's
And
all I
that's
got.
it.
That wraps that up.
That's a good question. Thank you, Dino Mike.
Yeah,
Yes,
Dino, that's
thank you.
actually
It
that's
kind
really
of
good.
went in another direction, but
Oh yeah, also I guess I didn't answer, but I've never really been in a competitive community like as much as I am in Slapshots. Like I've played like other games, like I played like COD GBs and shit back in the day, and like ESEA for a bit, not at a high level or anything. But
Yeah.
I've never been like in the actual competitive community as much as I am.
Even something
Slapshots.
like that though, even something like ESEA or CEVO,
Yeah, but
like a
yeah, but I
CEVO
don't know
tournament
those
with your
people.
pal.
That's like the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
Like it's more just like it was just me like queuing Face It instead of like knowing the people I'm playing with and like being in a league or anything like.
But
Yeah.
definitely just some kind of a ranked mode to show your true skill
Mhm.
is something that needs to be done in the game.
All right. Last topic. We can save it. We'll do a quick little vote of it, or a quick little census, I guess.
wow.
Do you guys want to talk about the ranked mode in the next game and the length of the game, or how long you think the game should be for the ranked mode of Slap Rebound?
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
really know what you mean.
because Irv said in Slapchat the other day that his idea is for rank to mimic pugs and like the game length
I
stuff
think
like
that's
that.
perfect.
I don't think 15-minute games is good for ranked.
No?
I think games like I think a lot of games ranked mode is like its pro scene. So if your pro scene is a 15-minute long game, you need to commit to a 15-minute long game
Yeah.
in a ranked match.
Right. I agree with that.
Having a 5-minute game is like
Doesn't tell you
anything
anything.
could happen.
Um,
It's not really
I
like
agree for Slap 1, which is why I think 15-minute games is great for Slap 1 because there's so much random shit. But
But Slap 2, you're saying it's different enough
I just
that
don't like hopeful like we're hoping it's different, right? Like we don't want to like the pinch like bullshit goals and like
right.
like puck through stick and like anything that just makes you feel like you got gypped by the game is the problem that having 15-minute games solves because it gives you time to kind of mitigate those.
Okay.
I
But
kind
I
of think
think-
the opposite though. I think that giving you the 15 minutes, if it is more skill based, and hopefully it is like better team versus better team, like giving you 15 minutes gives you time to find a more definitive or clear like victor, in that time.
yeah.
You don't have to account for all the bullshit, but I don't think that 15 minutes was given because the game is so random, but because 5 minutes is not a lot of time to determine who's actually better than the other team.
I think if we're talking about why it was that, I think it's because Midas wanted some weird sim league fantasy. But
All right.
I
So
think
discussion for another day.
pubs and the chill are good for 5 minutes, but I do think a ranked mode should mimic a pro game if people want to take it seriously.
But the thing where I differ is I don't think pro game should be 15 minutes either. If it should be a best of 5-minute games.
I don't know, dude.
see,
Yeah.
all right. The reason I don't want to see 5 minutes is because I picture it like a third period, like you're playing 3 third periods rather than a whole game. So like to me, all I see is people who score 2 goals with like 2 minutes left in the game. You're just gonna literally hold the puck behind your net, waste time, and then people are gonna pressure you, and then you're just gonna skate around and pass it, and then someone gets close to you. Instead of trying to like add to your lead, I see people just throwing the puck away and like playing super pressure defense and like really just kind of like I said, not adding to the lead, more of like trying to protect it. So like I feel like I'd rather play a first, second, and a third period rather than playing 3 third periods. Like I just see that being so boring to watch. Like I don't see that being entertaining. Like even in like a competitive like setting. Like I'm not gonna lie, if I was up by a goal with a minute left, I would literally just hold it behind my net and force somebody to forecheck me, go the other way, and then just have a 3-on-2 every time. Like that just wouldn't be entertaining, in my opinion. Like from a perspective, like a spectator standpoint, and from like a playing standpoint, I just don't think that would be fun.
I didn't think about that, but I totally agree with that too.
Yeah.
Like when you have a 15-minute game, you only have to worry about that sometimes in the third period.
Right,
if
but
things are still like close at that point,
But you've had the whole
Um,
game to make up for the fact that, like, if you're down by a
Exactly.
goal or two, you can justify and be like, oh, they're playing like pussies, but I had 13 minutes to, like, make up for them playing like pussies, so that's my fault. But,
Yeah,
like, if,
yeah.
okay, say you get one bullshit tip goal, which we all know is going to happen at some point or another, and they score a legit goal, and then Yuri just dances around with the puck and he fucking dumps it down the ice, like, tell me that's not going to be annoying. Like, you're not going to be like, this is fucking stupid. Like, I
Three
can't do,
times
I
in a
can't
best
do
of 3.
anything for fucking 2 minutes because he goes behind the net, and then I chase him one side, or we double forecheck, and then it's a 1-on-2 the other way, or I forecheck him one side, and then he goes the other way. So, like, I don't know. I just see that being super, like, stall tactic heavy and, like, just super boring to watch. Because, like, I'm not going to lie. If it's 5 minutes games, I'm going to do that just to get the win and the elo.
I do want to hear Rodio's side on why.
No, I do
think
too.
5 minutes would be better.
I
Like I
think it's
said-
way too early to talk about anything gameplay related.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
solving. Like, I don't think.
No, yeah.
Like I said, I
like,
haven't even
wanna-
played the game, so I don't know.
Yeah, I have, but I'm. I like nothing is even close to set in stone. So even if I were to talk about it, which I won't, because I don't think I can. I'm obviously wouldn't go into any depth, but
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
I think it's super early to talk about anything like dumping wise or like how like good it is or like forecheck. Like all that is like solved or not solved, but like easily solved with like gameplay changes. But I do think there's a lot to be said for 5-minute games for ranked play because it's in the game, not like player made leagues. Like I think there's a lot to be said for having 5-minute games in the game because it incentivizes people not leaving, like time commitment, like nice short games,
Right, yeah.
having the same format as the casual, which makes ranked less like scary for players like looking to make the transition. Because I know a lot of players, even like league, will just never play ranks. They don't they don't want the pressure on them. I just think, and then transferring from that, I think the leagues having the same format as ranked is great to give people another ladder from playing ranked, getting into the real competitive scene, where you use the 5-minute games and then do a best of series. So it's not, so you do minimize some of the RNG or like the campiness possibly of one 5-minute game.
Yeah.
Who's to say they don't just do it 2 times over?
I mean, if you're
So-
going down 2 goals 2 times over, that's your fucking fault.
Yeah. But anything could happen in those 3 minutes of gameplay until they just start playing like
Yeah,
defensive the whole
or
time.
I mean, or what if you go up 1 goal, hold it for a minute every game, and then you turn it over in your own zone because you're camping with it in your end, and then they score, and then you lose in overtime, both games.
But I feel like that's just so less likely that, like, I feel like if you hold the puck 100 games, you're gonna probably win 80 of them. So, like, I just feel like that's the majority of games. Like, obviously there's anomalies where, like, you can come back if teams are doing that, but I feel like A, that's so boring to watch, like, for a league, and B, it's just so hard to even
I
do
just
that
don't
consistently.
think any of the gameplay implications right now are worth talking about, and right now you have to look at it from like
Right, yeah.
retaining ranked players, like how it actually affects like the player base and stuff like that. And I think easier to manage games and more manageable time commitments are a lot better for the health of a ranked ladder.
So you're just
But,
saying for the overall game it would be better, not for, like, competitive
yeah.
itself it would be better.
And then you I think you build it for whatever's best for the game at first,
Yep.
and then for whatever you need for the competitive scene, then you can build on it for what would be best for competitive.
So, like, you're just saying start at 5 and then adjust, like, even if ranked is
And
5,
I'm
figure out
not
the
even
league
set
should
at
have to.
5. I just think
No,
15
yeah, I
is
know.
way too long.
No,
I
yeah,
could
like
see
Dream suggested 10,
7
and
and a
I was
half.
like 10. I think
Yeah.
would be good, like double the length, so it's not too scary. Because triple, I could
Yeah.
see being like a little long. I don't think 5 is enough. I think 10 might
Yeah.
be a good alternative, just in my mind. Obviously, like I said, I haven't
Yeah.
played the game, so I don't know. But I think it definitely has to be a little longer than 5. I think 10 literally would be perfect, like just doubling the length, and you could be like, okay, it's double. You're fucking, it's fine.
Mhm. I just think with 15, you would see a lot of levers, a lot
Yep.
of like forfeits, if that's a thing.
Yep.
I don't know. I think whatever's best for the health of the ranked ladder in that situation is what should be like gone with, whatever that decision is. It could be 15. I mean,
Right.
you never know with how the gameplay is.
Now, sorry.
No, you're good. And then,
What I was gonna
yeah.
say is, so I think that ranked, like, it sucks because I do agree with what Meat said that, like, your rank should, or like your competitive league should mirror like the ranked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I said that. I think because I watched growing up, I watched a lot of COD esports, and that the biggest thing was that competitive COD was a completely different game from casual. Like they would ban like half the guns,
Right,
they
right.
would ban like kill streaks, all the shit that made COD fun when you were playing with your friends wasn't allowed and competitive, and it's one of the biggest things that made it hard for that esport to grow.
Right. So
And
started
it's one
at
of the best
5.
parts about League of Legends is that the
Think-
pros are playing the same game that the non-pro
Right,
players are.
Right. Yeah.
I think 15 minutes. 10 would be good. It'd be kind of hard to implement that though into a hockey game. But I
Yeah,
think 15
'cause you
minute. I think
halves or
15
some
minutes.
shit.
Yeah, I think 15 minutes would show the true skill of somebody though, if you really deserve your rank or not. Because in fact, I can't really say anything because I don't know the game.
Right. Yeah. That's the
But
same thing. Me.
Also,
but
anyone who's
if
played
it's
it also really doesn't know the game. I want like
Yeah.
I don't know the game either. Blue Shirt doesn't even like no
Right,
one really
yeah, yeah.
like
It's constantly
has-
changing.
I
Still,
think-
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So I'm
But
not talking from experience.
if it's anything like Slap 1, I feel like this goes with a lot of games though in general. In 5 minutes, there's so much just random stuff that could happen. People can get lucky. It's not really deserving for some games. It won't be deserving for some games. Like the winner or the outcome. I think a
Yeah.
15-minute game will like reflect more on how the players are playing. But yeah.
The only reason that, like I think Rob said, like, oh, that's not a problem in Rocket League, is people never complain about 5 minutes, but that's because in Rocket League, like, you can't sit at your own end and someone comes towards you, you just go around them. Like, you can't control the ball to a fine degree, like a hockey game, where you could literally throw the game away just by controlling the puck around, like, or
Yeah.
controlling the ball around at Rocket League. Like, that's why I don't like when every comparison is Rocket League. Like, the only thing that they're similar is that they're physics based. Like, I can't control the ball for a minute long against a level 1 in Rocket League. Like, I can't just do, like, you know what I mean? Like, on Rocket League, you're forced to play offense and you're forced to move the ball around. I could literally just sit there with the puck as long as I want. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't like the comparison of, like, the game. Like, they're literally only similar
comparing
in
anything
physics.
gameplay wise.
Right. That I don't like it. Like, I feel like 10 would be good because, like, it's kind of just double that, and you're still forced to be like, okay, there's 5 minutes left. Like, I can't just dump it if we're up by 2. Like, they can still easily come back. And, like, I feel like, yeah, even if you go down by a lot in the beginning, like, people might leave, but at that point, like, you probably already lost if somebody's leaving because, like, if you're down by 5 with 5 minutes, like, you're probably not gonna come back anyway. So, like, I feel like 10 wouldn't be enough that people would like leave because there's too much time left, and it'd be just enough that people would like want to stay if it was kind of close. You know what I mean?
Just give them a
And
hefty game ban.
If you are leaving and say you were down by 5, like that loss is just one step quicker to like figuring out what rank you actually might be.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or like making a more fair matchup, right? Like if you can get those shitty matches out of the way, the more like shitty matches you can have, the more likely we are to be able to actually get you a decent one, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
Anything else?
That's
Sums
that's
it
it
up.
for me.
All right, that's a wrap. So we'll see you guys next Monday.
Whenever
There will be
whenever it is.
whenever we decide. There will be 2 weeks left of SPL after that.
Yep.
So we'll be kind of wiring it down. There'll definitely be a lot more written on the wall at that point. We'll see where the teams are, and then we'll probably talk more about whatever else there is going on.
Maybe the census thing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Make sure
it
you
feels
fill out
like
the
it's been a
census.
year.
Fucking fill that out. It'll be in the
mentioned it.
description.
But yeah, everyone who's listening to this, and we'll post it on Discord too. So hopefully we get a lot of responses. But if you're watching on YouTube, click the description and go ahead and fill that thing out for us.
I'll
And
be
like I said, just-
hunting people
yeah,
down
just-
to fill it out.
Just
It's
be as
not a
honest
hassle,
as you
guys. I
can.
promise. It's like
I'm
5
gonna post it
questions.
everywhere too. I'm gonna send it to the
Literally
EU guys. I'm gonna
30
send it
seconds
everywhere.
too. Yeah,
It's 5 questions for something fun to look at.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I will be hunting. If I see your name not on there by Wednesday or Thursday, I will be spamming you constantly. So expect that.
And if I
Alright.
see you lie about something that I know is wrong,
Yep.
I'm gonna be mad at you.
Yep. Don't lie. You'll be blacklisted and never allowed on the show. I know. Big heartbreak. We'll never mention your name again.
I was on it twice, so it's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
shit,
Pretty
you were
fun
on
on here.
twice.
Yeah.
That's pretty, but one was behind the scenes. So
It's
All
like
right.
the pre-recording.
All right. Is this episode 5?
This is episode 5.
Signing off.
Five
Okay.
number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5-2.
Take
5-2.
Oh, God.
All right. That's it. Later.
See ya.
Okay. See you guys.